Good evening, yogis. Welcome to Mission Dharma Online. Glad to see you. Just turn off my phone here. Highly recommend that you turn yours off as well. Allow yourself the full seclusion of practice and mingling with life in a less filtered way, more direct. Before I get too excited and start launching into a little Dharmet, I thought maybe we would say hello to each other for those who've made it at who are the early birds. Please feel free to unmute, say good evening to each other.
Good evening.
You can say where you're calling in from if that pleases you.
Hello from San Francisco.
Hi, from San Francisco.
Yay.
Hello from Burlingame.
Hey, David. Nice.
Hi. Hi from Maryland.
There's Laura. There's Michael from
Amy are in Morro Bay.
Tom. Hey, Tom.
Hey. Katie from San Francisco.
Hi, Jamie. Hey, Noemi.
From the mission.
From the mission. Yay. At least we should have someone from the mission Dharma.
Oh, there's two of us.
Oh, great. Glad to hear.
I'm up the hill from the mission, so virtually.
Hey, Howie G. Thank you for co-hosting. There's Mark.
Brenda from Sunshine Coast, British Columbia. Hello, everyone.
Thank you for bringing the Sunshine Coast to us.
Good evening from San Rafael.
Yay, Dan. So great.
Janet from Saskatchewan, Canada.
Hello, Janet. Happy to have you with us so soon.
So soon. Thank you.
Always such a pleasure to see you, and looking forward to being in person in Regina in a few months.
Mary from Santa Barbara.
Hey, Mary. Always good to have your experience with us. Okay. Well, I at least feel a little bit of the benefit of what it often feels like to be in person and be able to greet each other and hear each other's voices, and how that affects my nervous system is in a really positive, relaxing way. And so I'm happy to get a chance to have our virtual version of that. And now that we do know that we are all together again, I calculated with my calculator that I counted up how many Tuesday nights that I've done. And it turns out that if I'm correct, it's somewhere in the realm of 1,850 Tuesday nights. So it is one of those things that I'm able
1,851.
Thank you. Maybe you're probably more accurate, and that one makes a big difference. But anyway, it's about the inexhaustible benefit of immersing ourselves in just being aware and awake and doing it together that makes it sustaining. It makes our life sustaining. And so it's a real act, I think, for each of us that both helps us and I think supports all the beings who have to live around us. So thanks for your continued presence here. It's not I don't take it for granted. So enough words. Now we'll let those last words fade away into the void. How quickly they disappear. They, in a sense, they may leave a little bit of a residue, but mostly they leave just an open space, a creative field, a field of creative possibility. We let go of past, we let go of future, we let go of present. We just are aware here. This moment has no, it has no quality other than it's open, that moment of being aware. And what we'll do tonight, as we do each week, is we will plant, we will put into this field, this open field, as careful attention as we can to how it is that our life unfolds, what it is that we notice, the fact that we notice. And we remove, we make this, as I think I've been doing a little bit lately, we make this a problem-solving free zone. Remembering that mindfulness is not meant to fix us. It's not meant to solve a problem, figure anything out, push anything away, grasp anything. So it's really open. And it is such a welcoming atmosphere, an atmosphere of mindfulness, a welcoming atmosphere for whatever it is that shows up, because it has no agenda other than to notice. So with that agenda of noticing, let your eyes close softly. Be aware that there is noticing right now. There is awareness. Because something is known, and it's likely that your sitting body is known. You may want to shift it from side to side or front to back till you land on that center point where it's most effortless to sit upright and relaxed. And let this field of sensations we call a body, let it fill your awareness. And let your awareness just saturate this body with a kind and interested attention. And I'm always struck by the effect of my body being bathed in awareness, or saturating my body with awareness, how the body stills and begins to let go, just to let be. Even if there's initially a recognition of tension or stress, it begins to still. And the body begins to breathe, or continues to breathe as it does. And when attention meets the waves of the breath, it also supports a calming, harmonizing, a settling. It's this mindfulness directed to the breath and body that the Buddha described as leading naturally to a calm abiding. Not because we calmed our body or calmed our mind. We simply brought the attention together with our sitting body and our breath. And then the body liberates itself, it lets go. And if we stay very closely connected to the sitting body and breath, it brings focus, a sense of immediacy. And without trying to empty anything, our mind just empties of its usual preoccupations. It just gets filled with this breath, with this moment, this body, the sound of my voice, the sound of whatever your distant sounds are. Life returns to simplicity, which is really just a breath away. Because our complicated life is really just our situation or our story. Our immediate life is just this moment. So for our nervous system, we need a great measure of just this moment, so we can relax, not be in a state of fight or flight, constantly worry, fear, but just breathing, just sitting, just hearing, just feeling. Any experience that comes now, we welcome as a reminder of our love of being right here. Just this moment, just this breath, or whatever comes and is known in awareness. Awareness is non-selective, non-judgmental, just pure knowing, clearly comprehending this moment's experience. That's all. And no matter how many times you notice that your mind has gotten absorbed in working on something, planning or remembering, celebrate that reawakening. Celebrate that open opportunity to put your mind back in your body and your body back in your mind. That's all. Just a reminder that this is not so much of a doing, but a being aware. So remembering that there's nothing to do about what's occurring, nothing to undo, nothing to fix or figure out, just being aware, supported by the body and breath, and welcoming with a kind and interested and relaxed attention, whatever shows up. It's helpful to notice if you're trying to make something happen. This is greed in the mind, cause of tension. It's also helpful to notice if there's something that's being resisted. This is aversion in the mind, also causes tension. Just notice this greed and aversion. It's just another object of mindfulness, just to be known. It will self-liberate. Continue to notice each arising breath, sensation, sound, whatever's predominant. Knowing you've already arrived. This is the pinnacle right here. Just this moment. As always, happy to sit with you, happy to open my eyes and see those of you who have your cameras on. And just appreciate your support of each other, supporting me in my practice. Had a little bit of a realization during the sitting, and maybe I'll launch into a little Dharmet, and then check in with you. This could turn into a Dharma talk because some of it was already on my mind, but obviously this role the function of this role is to offer instructions and support and words and just resonance. But the function of the role of meditation teacher, at least in the course of the first 45 minutes of us being together, is to, at least in my view, is to kind of help gather us here, offer some instructions that help us to let go of whatever our usual preoccupations and immerse ourselves in the simple experience of moment to moment attention. And in doing that, in offering instructions, I'm also offering myself instructions. And I'm noticing that when I say certain words like let go, or words like soften, or words like beginner's mind, every moment is a new beginning. That's something I say a lot. Each one of those words has a certain, at least on this mind and body, it has a certain impact. And of course, I choose words that I think will have the best impact on myself and on you. And it's a reminder to me that thoughts are a wonderful tool in our lives. Words, thoughts, they are a beautiful expression of life. And it causes me to reflect on how much of the teachings have to do with learning how to manage thoughts, learning how to relate to thoughts. We talk about, and of course we do this with all different sense experiences. We talk a lot about letting go or letting be, as is. Now, of course, those are words, but they point to a way of relating to our experience where we don't cling. We learn how to relate to thoughts in a wise way. One way of relating to them in a wise way is to recognize their characteristics, their selflessness, the way they think themselves, the way they are unsatisfactory. They can't define us. They give us no lasting satisfaction. And they are ephemeral, they are like phantoms, they're like bubbles. So we learn how to relate to thinking, and disidentify from our thoughts, not take them so personally. We learn how to see that a thought of ourself is not ourself. A thought of someone else is not them. So a lot about learning how to relate to thoughts, to manage thoughts, to recognize, to have the wisdom to know what thoughts are useful and what happens when you proliferate in thoughts. What happens when you misidentify with thoughts, how you can wander a long time in a view of the world, a view of yourself for example, one of the main views that we get only through our thoughts, and something that the Buddha became wise to in his awakening. The thought of the seeker. The thought of the seeker tends to generate seeking. And when seeking tends to generate a feeling of wanting. And seeking tends to generate a feeling of wanting something to happen. And so the Buddha saw that as, oh, that's causing greed. That's greed in the mind. I think there may be some, I thought I heard someone unmuted, muted. No, maybe not. So the Buddha reminded us in his teachings that the point of practice is arrived at the present moment. And that we want to ultimately become finders, not seekers. And that wisdom says, oh, notice the way that the mind is seeking. You know, the night of his awakening, he said, oh, through many births and these thoughts of myself, I ran seeking, but not finding the maker of this house of me. So he talked about how we create ourselves as seekers and then associate our happiness with finding relief in time. Someday, he says, I ran seeking, but not finding the maker of this house. Oh, house builder, you've been seen. You shall not build a house again and get away with it. Your rafters are broken, your ridgepole destroyed, my mind gone to the unconditioned, which means I've become a finder. I'm no longer seeking. I'm resting right where I am. So to know the mind, we learn all about how to not follow so much our thought, but to relate to them and to see which ones are wise and which ones actually keep us bound in samsara, in an endless search. The beauty of thoughts, just like with sense desires, the Buddha said there's 3 things you need to know about sense desires. You need to know their pleasure that comes with them. You need to know their defects, what kinds of problems you can get stuck in. So a lot about wisdom. We learn how to normalize thoughts. This is a lot of the teaching, especially for meditators who want to stop their thoughts. It is such an obsessive thought to try to stop your thought. It requires an obsessive identity with the one who's going to stop it all. And that's just another thought. But that thought builds into a real fighter. I'm gonna stop my thinking. I'm gonna meditate till I stop thinking. But the wisdom of the teachings about thoughts is that thoughts are to our mind, a door of perception called mind, just like a sound is to the ear, and a smell is to the nose, and a taste is to the touch, and a sensation is to the body. It's natural. So we normalize them. So that's part of our orientation of the teachings is mostly to empty our mind in a way, not empty our mind, empty our mind of its trying to control, trying to grasp, trying to push away, to relate with wisdom to the thinking mind so that we're not suffering about our thoughts. I call this the emptying side. You could say, just let go. Just check it out. Just drop into a state of awe and wonder at the thinking mind and learn how to manage it. It's a great part of the teachings. It's been so helpful. I think one of the first things that inspired me was seeing how absolutely wild my mind was when I first started. And it was so out of sync with the nature that I was at a retreat center, and the nature was so quiet and pristine, and my mind was just zooming. And then I tried to walk slowly, and my body was zooming. And so it was really helpful to see that. Another half of the teaching, though, you could say half of it is the emptying, the opening, the bearing witness, the seeing clearly. The other half is actually cultivating thinking. Cultivating, I think it's really one of the things that has gotten cultivated for me is an inner teacher. So I'm sitting there tonight and my mind is saying to me, just treat your body, these are words, treat your body like a block of ice that's been left out in a midday sun. I didn't share that with you tonight. I think I did it I think it was on the Sunday retreat. I said something like that. So it may have been just the fruit of having thought that before. But that thought, that what I call a helpful thought, it had the effect of my body just melting, relaxing. That was a trigger for letting go, for letting be. So we can see that thoughts cultivated, wise thoughts cultivated, have an impact. And the Buddha was, I think, one of the 8 limbs on the Noble Eightfold Path, the limb of wise effort. He talked very explicitly about the 4 efforts. And the 4 efforts have to do with mostly at least two of them are about cultivation. Where he said, cultivate the wholesome. And then I'll just give them briefly. I'm not going to go through them too intensely. Cultivate the wholesome, maintain the wholesome, abandon the unwholesome, and prevent the unarisen unwholesome from arising. But half of that equation of wise effort is to cultivate the wholesome. And when it comes to thinking, it's inclining your thoughts, your mind, toward what is helpful and wholesome. And he elaborated in so many different ways. I'll just share the one that I often share. Whatever one thinks about and dwells upon becomes the inclination of the mind. And in the Dhammapada, he said, we are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Speak or act with a pure mind, and happiness will follow you as your shadow, unbreakable. Goes on to say, think with an impure mind, and troubles will follow you. So the filling of our mind with the wholesome, especially the wholesome thoughts of goodwill, of empathy, all the things that emerge from thoughts and feelings. Thoughts and feelings I'm using interchangeably. The kinds of qualities that emerge from the cultivation of loving kindness, a sense of goodwill and empathy and not wanting to harm someone you really care about, yourself or others. It has the impact of creating more harmony. You can tell when your mind inclines toward loving kindness. There's just more peace. There's just more peace when your mind stream is filled with more kindness and caring. I think the years of planting that seed of wishing you well, wishing others well, wishing myself well, I think it's enhanced my sense of my experience of relationships. It made my relationships better. It's also helped in a very organic way, not in it doesn't feel as though it's created it, but it's what it's revealed as the words in the mind and the feelings in the mind incline in a certain direction. There's a kind of melting away. Again, that same kind of melting as that body with like a block of ice left out in the sun, a melting of the heart, and you could say a melting of boundaries where you do not feel separate from me. I know that we have individuality that has a certain kind of relative separateness, individual lives, but those lives clearly and obviously are made up of all the things that we are connected to universally. So with love, with the inclining toward love, with the inclining toward compassion, inclining toward joy and being able to enjoy when other people have joy instead of envy them, that all from inclining the mind that way, saying words and feeling it. May your happiness, I'm happy you're happy. May your happiness continue. May it increase. May it never wane. Most people these days, that's a little controversial because everything wanes. So people sometimes don't use that last one, but I still like it. May your happiness continue. May it increase. May it never wane. Because I'd like that for you. And just thinking about it opens up that intrinsic quality in the heart of love that expresses itself, in this case, as sympathetic joy. And when I say the words, I care about your suffering. May your suffering ease. That connects me with whoever I may be thinking about, and you in this case. And it connects me with an intrinsic quality, an unconditional quality. During the sitting, I saw in my big pile the list of the perfections of the Buddha, the paramis, or the perfections. The Buddha, the awakened Buddha, had cultivated and developed these qualities, and they are the expression of an awakened consciousness. And the list it's a beautiful list. Generosity, inclining toward generosity. We talk about it every week. It's the heart of what keeps this gift economy, this gift culture of giving and receiving, just keeps creating the conditions to incline the mind toward that beautiful quality of generosity, the joy of giving to life, giving to each other, giving to ourselves, morality, harmlessness. That just inclining toward harmlessness. I was looking at today the precepts from the Manzanita village monastic community, reflecting every day, the wise reflection on the interconnectedness of all of us, and how important it is that we incline and remember, and we just let ourselves be taken over by the wish that we cause no harm. In this case, every day, if you can find a version of the 5 daily training guidelines or precepts, it's just a beautiful thing to have in your environment, to have your mind dwelling on. Aware of the violence in the world, and if you're not, you've been living under a rock. But aware of the violence in the world and the power of nonviolent resistance. I stand in the presence of the ancestors, the earth, and future generations, and vow to cultivate the compassion that seeks to protect each living being. Aware of the poverty and greed in the world, of the intrinsic abundance of the earth. I stand in the presence of the ancestors, the earth, and future generations, and vow to cultivate the simplicity, gratitude, generosity that have no limits. Aware of the abuse and lovelessness in the world, and of the healing that is made possible when we open to love. I stand in the presence of the ancestors, the earth, and future generations, and vow to cultivate respect for the beauty and erotic power of our bodies. Aware of the falsehood and deception. Wonder where your mind goes when I say that. Aware of the falsehood and deception in the world and the power of living and speaking the truth. I stand in the presence of the ancestors, the earth, and future generations, and vow to cultivate the ability to listen, clarity, and integrity in all I communicate by my words and actions. Aware of the contamination and desecration of the world and my responsibility for life as it manifests through me. I stand in the presence of the ancestors, the earth, and future generations, and vow to cultivate discernment and care in what I take into my body and mind. So even for me, just even bathing in those words right now, they remind me of those deeper, more true values, those values that resonate with the heart and bring peace. They bring peace. They don't bring tension and chaos and ill will. And you can tell when that in the Dhammapada, which is up on my screen, I keep it up in the corner. We are what we think, with all that we are arises with our thoughts. You think of the endless massacres that we have in our culture. It started with thinking. Thoughts of ill will, nurtured, cultivated. And what we find is then some kind of Nazi manifesto and a murderer. It's conditioned. And we keep cultivating loving kindness and even compassion for these perpetrators. Just totally at the effect of their actions of body, speech, and mind. So just to go through the paramis, if you didn't read, I started them: generosity, morality, renunciation. That's that simplicity, discernment or wisdom, energy. It's cultivating determination and arousing wholesome intentions. Patience, which is really just the opposite of ill will and impatience. Truthfulness, resolve, kindness, and equanimity. So many of the teachings that I've had the pleasure of being able to share and then live into slowly, just they have come in the form of poems, of words, someone's thoughts, someone's attempt to find words that evoke a direct and immediate understanding. And that's my own longing or attempt, what I want for this this role is to be able to find. I know it's impossible, but I keep trying to refine a language that can be evocative, that can help loosen the grip of our conceptual fixations and introduce us to remind myself and others of the vastness, the indescribability of our nature. That it can't be reduced to a thoughts, but thoughts can take you to the frontier of where we are usually stuck and help us let go. I actually brought along a couple passages that I think are beautiful. This is from the Tibetan tradition. Somehow it's very evocative when I read it. My dream-like form appeared to dream-like beings to show them the dream-like path that leads to dream-like enlightenment. But then, in a more Thich Nhat Hanh style, these are the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. This body is not me. I am not caught in this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born and have never died. Since beginningless time, I have always been free. Words like calm. Just hearing them awakens that unconditional quality in us. It's one of the enlightenment factors. Why is it an enlightenment factor? Because it's something that we incline toward. It's something that's part of us that gets awakened when we practice. But even saying the word reminds us. Calm, concentration, equanimity. Balance. Notice what happens to your mind when you just hear the word balance. Whatever you frequently think about and dwell upon becomes the inclination of the mind. So I think I wanted to emphasize this, because there's still such there's such a trance, such a view about somehow thoughts are bad and get rid of them. I'm thinking, it's a problem. Wholesome thoughts, unwholesome thoughts. Thoughts to follow and to cultivate, thoughts to let go and see through. But so much benefit to cultivating wholesome thoughts. The Buddha devoted a whole body of practices to just cultivate the four immeasurable qualities of the heart, to reawaken those in us, the quality of loving kindness, where we feel, either radiate a well-wishing to others. It's a kind of feeling, it's a kind of thought, but then putting words to it sometimes, but sometimes just the feeling. It's still a form of thought. May you be happy. Tapping on each person's screen. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you feel safe in this world from inner and outer harm. May you have ease of well-being. May you suffer less. Or compassion, may your suffering lessen. I care about your suffering. Or the equanimity, I care about you, but I can't keep you from suffering. So helping us to find that balance of caring, but not being overwhelmed by the suffering that we find in this world, our families. And then the sutta that the teaching of loving kindness emerged from, the Metta Sutta. Many people repeat this every day. Many people have it on their refrigerator. And planting that seed again and again. As I said before, it melts our heart. It melts our separation. It just makes us easier to be with. This is what should be done, the Buddha said, by one who is skilled in goodness, who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, wise and skillful, not proud or demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none. Boy, that's such a good seed to plant. Omitting none from our circle of affection. The great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away. Don't forget that those far away are also connected. Those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let's slow down and take that in. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. It's very confronting, very purifying. It brings to the surface all of our hatred and ill will. And that's actually good news. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies, downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or lying, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. That's thinking. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from the dependency on sense desires, is not born again into the cycle of suffering. I changed the words, but hope that's okay. But the point is, as the poet Hafez tells us in his beautiful poem called To Build a Swing, you carry all the ingredients to turn your life into a nightmare. Don't mix them. You have all the genius to build a swing in your backyard for the divine. That sounds like a hell of a lot more fun. Let's start laughing, drawing blueprints, gathering our talented friends. I will help you with my divine lyre and drum. Hafez will sing 1,000 words you can take into your hands like golden saws, silver hammers, polished teak wood, strong silk rope. You carry all the ingredients to turn your existence into joy. Mix them, mix them. So may we all turn our existence into joy, or at least bring more joy into this suffering world, just to balance the terrible. One moment, I'm looking for our final blessing. Change my mind and I'll read the blessing of John O'Donohue for peace, and then maybe we'll have a couple minutes to check in before we sign off. As the fever of day calms toward twilight, may all that is strained in us come to ease. We pray for all who suffered violence today. May an unexpected serenity surprise them. For those who risk their lives each day for peace, may their hearts glimpse providence at the heart of history. That those who make riches from violence and war might hear in their dreams the cries of the lost. That we may see through our fear of each other a new vision to heal our fatal attraction to aggression. That those who enjoy the privilege of peace might not forget their tormented brothers and sisters. That the wolf might lie down with the lamb, that our swords be beaten into plowshares, and no hurt or harm be done anywhere along this holy mountain. May it be so. Any comments, questions before we sign off tonight? Feel free to unmute and say anything, or remain quiet. It's okay too. That itself is a thought. Thank you, Arizu. I don't see you, but I know you're there and I'm happy you're here. Okay, Howie G, it's up to you. Bring us home.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to touch on one point Howie made because I'm asked to talk about Donna. And I know there's a lot of familiar faces and have heard this before, but I think there may be some new faces here. Anyway, Donna is how we demonstrate generosity, and this sangha has been running on our generosity, and and basically Buddhism has been running on our generosity since the beginning. And I just would ask and remind everyone to try to contribute if you can, and keep this going. I was thinking, Howie, he may be a saint, but he's not a monk. So, our teachers need to keep going and to carry this forward. So the Dana that we contribute keeps the Sangha going, and that also means keeps Howie going and the teachers that fill his seat. So I wish you all well. You can find ways to contribute in the email that you got, and be well.
Thank you, Howie. Thanks for the Donna of being the co-host. Just no small thing. Week after week, we have a very small cadre of people who do this, and of course, we're always looking for anyone who would be willing to practice Dana in the form of co-hosting. Don't be bashful. Anyway, thank you, and thanks in advance for your generosity. And just a reminder that the next half-day retreat will be in person, but not until October 21st. Okay? Hope to see you all there, and those of you who can be there. And the rest of you, the next online will be the month after that. We'll try to alternate, but the month of September got too many retreats, so I'm not able to do it. So thanks for your practice. Feel free to unmute and say goodnight to each other and carry on planting the seeds that bring joy. Night, night.
Thanks, Howie.
Thanks,
Good
Howie.
night, all.
Thanks,
Good
everyone.
night.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Howie.
Howie.
Thank you.
Everyone. Thank you,
Thanks,
Howie.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Howie. Thank you all for being there.
Good night. Thank you, Howie. Good night, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night, all.